I want to be clear. We are very pro-aging.
I would still think that you are drop dead gorgeous.
I think my mom is going to learn that I get Botox by watching this.
People who have history of skin cancers on their face, come on in and do your Fraxels.
This ended up being way more interesting than I thought it would be.
Yeah, we get older every day. Got more wrinkles, that's okay. Yeah, we're laughing when we age. Life is like a comedy stage. And that's why we got laugh lines.
Hey everybody, I'm Kim Holderness.
And I'm Penn Holderness, and here we are in the Laugh Line studio for Laugh Lines. At least for now, we're in the Laugh Line studio. We're about to go on the road, you guys.
It's not Paris. I know we've been teasing you with like a one-day trip to Paris, but it's to Chapel Hill, which is down the road.
Yes, it is a commute that you could do in one day.
Anyway, welcome to Laugh Lines. If you have been excited about getting a colonoscopy because of the nap, you are home.
Yes.
You are with your people.
Also, if you believe in the use of two spaces after a period, you're also home, which is a hill that I will die on. I really don't understand why my daughter gets so upset with two spaces after a period, as well as, I don't know, maybe Sam. She's got a little wry grin there. Are you a one space after the period person?
She's nodding. She's given.
Are you serious?
Oh, honey, we've had this conversation. So we recently did an episode called The Hill I Will Die On.
Yes.
And in that, we talked about the Oxford comma.
Yes.
We got a call on the laugh line from Brian.
Laugh line. It's the part of the show where everyone will find. Laugh line. You call us up and you tell us what's on your mind.
In reference to the Oxford comma, Hill You Die On segment, there was a Maine dairy company that lost $5 million after a lawsuit in which the comma after the word shipment was dropped. So for the lack of an Oxford comma, all those drivers earned additional overtime.
This is a real thing, friends. The headline reads this: think commas don't matter? Omitting one cost a Maine dairy company $5 million.
And so there was an overtime law that they were saying doesn't apply to the following things. And there was a long list of things like the canning, processing, preserving of like all of this produce. And it ends with storing, comma, packing for shipment or distribution of. They took out the Oxford comma in between shipment and or, right? So what that means was when the list came out there, it was unclear whether or not that works for shipment or distribution, or just shipment, comma, or distribution, right? So huge lawsuit. And the people who did shipment or distribution, which is a whole new group, right? Distribution, got like $5 million worth of overtime.
Get that bag, boys.
Yeah, because they didn't put the comma in.
Now to the meat of the show. Okay, I want to be clear. We are very pro-aging. This whole podcast, Laugh Lines, double entendre. We have Laugh Lines. We have Laugh Lines. And we have a phone line that you can call and make us laugh. And we like to write things that make you, there's a lot of, it's a triple entendre. Like
it's a heck of a disclaimer, babe.
Okay.
Keep it going.
We love aging, but also I am very vain. And I thought it would just be interesting to talk with a really accomplished, like leading dermatologist about the different options for non-surgical sort of cosmetic uplift.
Right. We're not talking about creams or nighttime lotions. I mean, there's some of that, but you're talking about actual procedures that you have in your face that doesn't involve quote unquote surgery.
Right. I have seen Dr. Ellen Cox. By the way, this is not a paid segment. It seems like a huge contradiction. Get on here and talking about the joys of aging and then, oh yeah, I'm going to go get Botox. But I just feel the need to be really transparent.
Do you think people want to get surgery and not have people know about it? Or do you think it's more acceptable? Like, hey guys, like I'm getting older. This is what I want.
I just don't want my skin to feel like it's sliding off of my skull. Right.
I want to say like, I think it is great that you're being upfront and honest about this. You made it a point that like, you pay full price for this. We're not like getting a kickback for this, but this is something that is part of your values. Like you want to like age appropriately,
right?
Not look like your skin sliding off your face. I mean, the conversation's already happened. And I thought it was fascinating to me just to know like and to clarify all the different things where you have to go for each of them and how many options there are. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's going to be a bit of an add-on for the interview. Not that you can't listen on our, wherever you get podcasts, it's great as well. But on YouTube, we're going to show a few of the before afters when she's describing these procedures so you can kind of tell what they are. And again, we're not getting a kickback for this. It's just in case you're curious.
Yeah. Did we do enough disclaimers? We love a disclaimer. Okay, I'm going to read her bio. She's incredibly impressive. Dr. Sue Ellen Cox is a board-certified dermatologic surgeon and the founding medical director of Aesthetic Solutions in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. A national leader in facial rejuvenation, she specializes in lasers, injectable fillers, and neuromodulators. Dr. Cox has authored over 80 peer-reviewed publications, serves as a feature editor for dermatologic surgery, and has delivered more than 125 lectures worldwide. Dr. Cox has contributed to the FDA approval of several widely used injectables and body contouring technologies. Seriously, if you go into a cosmetic dermatologist and you're talking about fillers and Botox and all that stuff, she is the person doing the clinical trials. So leader here.
And if you're watching on YouTube, we're about to magically transport from this studio to another location where Dr. Cox works, and she will be in my seat, which is a huge upgrade.
Welcome to the show, Dr. Cox. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, first, I will break all HIPAA rules and let everybody know that I'm a patient of Dr. Cox, very proud patient. Okay.
Thank you.
So I think by the time I came to see you, you didn't say it in this way, but you're like, okay, you have forehead wrinkles. Those are going to be there. So let's do some Botox that kind of lifts it up a little bit. So people of my age that have some laugh lines, what are some expectations they should have around Botox specifically?
Well, I'd say the most important thing about Botox or botulinum toxin, because now there are 6 of them that are FDA approved, and we have another 4 that we're working on clinical trials with. So pretty soon, it's going to be very commoditized. But the most important understanding is that what we're treating is muscles, and muscles like to push and pull. So they're what we call agonist and antagonist muscles. So the number 11 lines are due to brow depressor muscles. That means muscles that are pulling in and down. So what these muscle relaxing products do is they will provide lift if you treat the appropriate muscle groups. The antagonistic muscle to that one is the forehead muscle, which is called the frontalis muscle. That's a brow elevator muscle. So if you relax something that's going to lift or elevate, it drops. So it's the understanding that those muscles are there's a lot of interplay between them, and that you want to achieve balance, harmony, facial shaping, and it's individualized for the person in front of you. Because if I look at you, your right brow is coming up higher than your left brow.
It does, since birth.
So what I have to do is I have to trick the left side of your forehead into getting stronger. And I do it all the time for patients who have Bell's palsy. If they have a muscle group that's weakened because they have an underlying pathology like Bell's palsy, I will treat their normal side, their active side, and I will make their weak side work harder so that it learns to lift. It's the whole idea of like kids when you patch their eye for strabismus. You're patching the good eye to make the bad eye work harder. So I do a lot of work with people who have underlying medical conditions like that. And it's amazing for those Bell's palsy patients that after doing this for a few years, I can make somebody who had one side of their face that was almost completely paralyzed look almost completely normal.
Can you explain exactly what I get done?
So what you get done is you get your brow depressor muscles. We talked about that. So the muscles that are pulling down, which then lifts your brows up. And so you look more wide awake and approachable, and everybody thinks you're really interested in what they're saying to you.
But really, it's just my Botox. I really don't care what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
And then like crow's feet opens up the eyes. That tends to make your eyes look a little bit more open. Anything in the lower face,
I get it here.
Yeah, that's the neck. That's the platysma muscles. That's what got the most recent FDA approval. And we did the study here for that, where it tends to stop the muscles from pulling your face down. And so then it lifts the neck up and you get a cinched jawline. So your jawline is sharper.
I told some friends that I got Botox, I'm like, it's like in my neck. And they thought I was doing it for neck wrinkles. It's not for that. It's to prevent the jowls.
Exactly. Prevents the jowls, prevents the pulling down of the lower face.
You are running a lot of clinical trials out of here. You have done a lot of the pivotal studies. How have you seen cosmetic dermatology and research? How have you seen that grow and change?
I mean, I graduated from my residency in 1993, and we didn't have Botox back then. There was no Botox at all. I mean, so it's a whole new field since the 90s, and it's just changed tremendously. And I feel very fortunate because I was right in that, on the forefront of all of that, and able to really get involved with clinical trials early. The CEO of Medicis, which had Dysport, actually asked me to do a clinical trial almost right out of my residency. And so I did the pivotal trial for Dysport, which is now what everybody uses. I've done trials for Botox, and we brought Jeuveau and Daxxify, and there's a new botulinum toxin that just got approved. So all of those trials were done here. So, and then a lot of the filler trials were also done here.
I think we've all seen the celebrities that show up to the red carpet and you're like, oh no, like they have all the money, and why, how do they did them dirty. So what is happening to those faces?
Honestly, I think that a lot of that is body dysmorphism and unethical, physicians or providers who are injecting them. So, again, if you put filler in the wrong plane, it's going to...
What does that mean?
So the way that we achieve lift to the face is we take advantage of ligaments that live in the face, and we make sure that our filler is put behind the line of ligaments and on the bone. And when you do that, you can achieve some anchoring of the tissue up and a little bit of lifting. Whereas if you put a lot of filler in the mobile fat pads, like the fat pads that are, so there's two sets of fat pads. There are deep fat pads that are attached to the bone, and there are superficial fat pads that are right below the skin. And if somebody's putting a lot of filler more superficially in those superficial fat pads, that is where people start to look weird, because when they smile, they have these huge ball-like cheeks, and it's just not done well. And I kind of do blame the companies a little bit, because when we do clinical trials, we do them for a specific amount of time. Maybe, you've got a product that's approved like Voluma, which has got a 2-year approval. The reason it's got a 2-year approval is because we continue to look at these patients for 2 years after we started their trial. So for the FDA, they were able to say, yes, this product lasts 2 years. But what we don't do with any of these products is look at them 10 years later, because some of them do last 10 years. When you're doing fillers under people's eyes, that product can last a long time. It's an area where you don't have a lot of metabolism. There's a lot of nuancing to filling under people's eyes. So I don't think there's any really good science behind how long fillers last in any specific person. Some of it may be determined by if somebody's a marathon runner, or they, break down their tissue, their fat more easily. Maybe they break down their fillers more easily. And again, depending on what plane the filler is placed, whether it's placed on the bone or it's placed, more in the superficial areas, that also will determine how long a product lasts. So it's very interesting. It's very scientific, but also artistic.
You've mentioned body dysmorphia, which is very real. And you've acknowledged also that there's some doctors who are not really taking some responsibility when they see a patient with that. How much does a doctor at your level, how are you able to recognize that? How are you able to kind of push back on a patient that you think is suffering from that?
Yeah. Well, it is interesting. There's a physician in California, Sabrina Fabi, who writes about perception drift. Like they start to get some filler and they love it, and then they get a little bit more, and then they just start to, their perception of themselves changes. And it is a form of body dysmorphism. Like they're kind of addicted to getting whatever the treatment is. And it's tough because when I see these women who come in with really big lips or really big cheeks that I know I don't want my signature on their faces, I just have to say it's not my aesthetic. You know, this is not my aesthetic and I don't think you need more. And I try to explain to them that, you know, they'll always tell me, oh, but the filler, I haven't had it in 10 years. I'm like, yeah, but maybe you had it a bunch of times 10 years ago and it's built up and now it's not going away. And that's where I think the companies have some responsibility in that, you know, okay, my filler lasts a year. Well, no, it doesn't. It lasts for a lot longer than that. But there are, you know, there are telltale signs when patients come in with that. And it is hard to deal with them. And you know, nobody wants to hear that you think they should see a psychiatrist, which often they should.
I mean, my grandmother, my mother, just beautiful. They've never, I think my mom is going to learn that I get Botox by watching this. But beautiful, gorgeous, perfect. And so I'm like, I'll never get a facelift. Like, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do this stuff instead. And then I saw Kris Jenner's facelift and I was like, But then I thought, but she doesn't look her age. Isn't there something to kind of, I don't know, like looking like you were aging, but looking the best for that possible age? Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. And I think it's always strange when somebody has this very youthful face and then their neck is terrible or their hands are all spotted and brown, and they have their tendons are showing and their veins are showing. So I think everything in an age appropriate way is what you want to achieve.
How young are people coming in here? Because on the way out the door, my daughter's like, ooh, when can I get Botox? I'm like, she just turned 18.
I know. Yeah. I had a mom bring a 16-year-old in a few weeks ago for lip filler. So, you know, it's interesting, right? There is pre-juvenation.
Pre-juvenation, tell me that.
Which basically is where people are coming in before they have any signs of aging. And they're getting, quote unquote, baby Botox or small doses to prevent line formation. So we know that lines happen because of repetitive movement. It's like if you iron your pants, you're going to have a line form. So repetitive ironing of anything is going to create a crease. And so if you don't make a crease happen because you're relaxing the underlying muscle, it will never develop. And that's kind of pre-juvenation.
So that's happening. Kids are pretty young doing that.
Yeah.
I'm calling them kids. They're adults when they're coming.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say I definitely have my UNC students, Duke students who come in and do it. And they don't need it as much. I mean, they might come in once a year or maybe once every 6 months because you think about it, they don't have creases to start with and they still have good collagen. So they're not going to be as likely to wrinkle. But if they can go for 4 months without, you know, ironing in any lines, then that additional 4 months, once it's worn off, it hasn't been creasing either. So they're not likely to form lines within a year.
Men, how many men are you seeing in your practice?
My practice is, I'd say 15, at most 20% males, but more of like 15, I would say. And men have completely different reasons for coming. I mean, their reason is competition in the workforce. Their reason is I want to get ahead in my career and I don't want to be aged out. I don't want people to think I'm older than I am. They're not doing it for themselves as much. Women do it for themselves.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. We do it because we want to look in the mirror and feel the best that we can about ourselves, feel good. Our self-esteem is good. We feel more confident. But men are literally doing it so that they can just perhaps improve in their careers a little bit more.
So that makes me a little sad.
They don't get left behind.
We haven't talked about lasers. Okay, lasers. It sounds like the stuff of science fiction, truly, but there are so many different. I went to your website to see the different laser treatments you offered, and there are many. So, can you give us like what are these different lasers doing?
So the way I like to think about laser is when like a patient comes in and wants to talk to me about laser, the first thing I say to them is, well, what are you trying to achieve? Like, what's your goal? Do you have red spots? Do you have brown spots? Do you have fine lines or wrinkles? Like, so lasers have a wavelength of light that is specific to a target. and the target may be red. So it's maybe blood vessels, it may be a birthmark, it may be a venous, like whatever it is. There's going to be the appropriate laser to treat that individual problem.
Okay, so I had like a
Blue vein.
I had a blue vein here, and it was making me look like it was making. Penn's like, you did what? So I had a blue vein here that I would cover up with makeup, and when we were doing all of our stuff, it was making it look like everything was really dark. And then we went in, and it was like boop boop boop, and blue
long pulse YAG. So we have a long pulse YAG laser, and that's a laser that's going to like a deeper, bluer vessel to close it down. So it's a different laser than the pulse dye laser. So you have to have a lot of different devices. You have to be a laser center if you're going to treat a lot of different problems.
So I have done a laser, and Penn, I swear you do know about this. So I did something for collagen.
Yeah, collagen stimulation, like a halo or a Fraxel.
I did a all therapy. Soft wave.
Soft wave.
I did soft wave.
So soft wave isn't a laser. It's an energy-based device. So an energy-based device is like an ultrasound or a radio frequency device. It's, a ultrasound that is focusing below the surface of the skin to develop more collagen.
Okay.
And to develop tighter, better collagen.
Okay. So not even a laser. I don't even know what I have done to my face. I'm sorry.
So a laser is a single wavelength of light typically.
Okay.
Even if something like a BBL or an IPL, those are not really lasers because they have multiple wavelengths of light. Okay.
So what is the laser that you think, or are there a few? First of all, have you done laser stuff?
Lots of lasers.
Do you have a favorite?
Well, the carbon dioxide laser, CO2 laser, is the most rewarding in terms of before and after results, but it's also the most to go through in terms of downtime.
Okay.
So, but if somebody has really deep wrinkles, particularly around the mouth or around the eyes, the carbon dioxide is going to be the gold standard.
So tell me what that means.
It's a second-degree burn.
Ooh.
That you have to do wound care for.
Ooh.
And you have basically anywhere from 7 to 14 days of downtime with that.
Wow. Okay. You've done that?
I've done it only around my eyes. I haven't done my full face.
Okay.
And it works. It's great.
Okay.
And you don't have to do it a lot. I mean, maybe once every 5 years or once every 10 years, just like a facelift lasts 5 to 10 years when you're doing CO2.
Wait, a facelift only lasts 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. Most facelifts that's basically.
Why did I think it was like one and done? But I guess you continue to age and.
You do continue aging. Yep. All that.
Okay. Sorry. And then what is, I have a dear friend and she gets it. I feel like she gets it once a year. She does this thing and I feel like she goes into hiding for a week afterwards.
Fraxel or halo.
Is that Fraxel? Mm-hmm. Okay. What is that?
So a Fraxel is, there's an erbium and a thulium. They're different wavelengths on a Fraxel. And a Fraxel is going to basically help build your own collagen. And so you will get a little bit of tissue firming with it and thickening of the skin with it, which is good. I mean, you're building your collagen. So you'll feel like your skin is doughier and firmer and more youthful. With the wavelength that we use for sun damage, you are 50% less likely to get a skin cancer than somebody who has never had one. So people who have history of skin cancers on their face, come on in and do your Fraxels.
Really?
Because that's important. It's really, and that was a study that was done about a year ago out of Matt Avram in Harvard, showing that patients who do a Fraxel are less likely to get skin cancers. Okay. So if you're you don't want to come in for cosmetic, then you can tell your family and friends you're doing it for therapeutic reasons, right?
See?
Don't be shy.
Yeah. Okay. So for the wrinkles, it's the CO2.
Wrinkles are CO2, deep wrinkles.
Deep wrinkles are CO2.
Fraxel, brown spots, sun damage, sallow discoloration of the skin, halo, 2 wavelengths of light, good for, again, collagen, getting pore size reduction, kind of a glow to the skin. So yeah, those are our kind of resurfacing. And then we have lighter resurfacing where you don't have the downtime. We have things like microneedling, radio frequency microneedling. We have like a baby Fraxel called Clear and Brilliant. So we have a lot of different devices in this office, depending on the age of the person, their expectations, what they need, whether they're doing something sort of once a year or they're doing it for maintenance. So there's lots of opportunity.
What are the newer trends, or is there any new technology we need to know about?
New trends. Well, our clinical studies, we are working with exosomes, which are basically like molecules that deliver signals. And we're doing a study right now placing topical exosomes on people's scalps, on their skin, and on their eyebrows. On the scalp to keep the hair in the active growing phase, and the eyebrows to help eyebrow growth, and on the skin just for better skin quality. So exosomes, anything that's going to be regenerative is like the buzzword for the future. And even things like Sculptor, which we mentioned briefly, and hyperdilute radiesse, which are biostimulators. They're putting something underneath the surface of the skin to signal to your body to wall off whatever's being placed there, whether it's PLLA or whatever it is, and build its own collagen naturally. So that's not a filler. So people who have filler fear, come on in and do, a biostimulator.
Would you be willing to share your skincare routine on the day-to-day? Like, do you have products you love?
I do. I mean, firm believer in vitamin C, which is an antioxidant. So repairs free radicals that happen in the skin due to pollution, sun damage, all sorts of environmental assaults on our skin. So vitamin C has a long track record, and the first person who kind of brought vitamin C into the marketplace in a more scientific way was Sheldon Pinnell at Duke, and SkinCeutical. And it just shows that was a product that was hard to actually penetrate through the skin. He was able to show that that formulation that he came up with does. So vitamin C's are, I think, an important preventative thing.
Okay.
I think retinoids, which have been out since the 70s or 80s, a long time, tretinoin, which is the prescription, strength retinoid, is really good at helping turn the skin over, helping fine line wrinkle reduction, helping prevent precancers again. So we've got a long track record with retinoids. I think peptides are great. I think, growth factors. So there's just so many different aspects of skincare, and my routine is always changing.
People listening, they're like, all of a sudden they're curious about maybe a laser treatment, a filler treatment, but they live very far away. They can't come see you. What are some things they should be asking a doctor before treatments?
So, it is important to see a physician, board certified. There's a core group of physicians that tend to do more of this, and those would be dermatologists, plastic surgeons, facial plastic surgeons, and oculoplastic surgeons. Sometimes I find the plastic surgeons will delegate more to their PAs and NPs. Not that that's a bad thing. There are some excellently trained NPs and PAs, but you want to go to somebody who does this all the time. Think of Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours. Right. If you're doing a lot of anything, you're going to be an expert at it. You're going to be able to treat complications from it. And I always tell my patients, if you're looking for somebody to provide some of these services, when you're interviewing them, do they know how to deal with a complication if they have one?
Oh.
If they don't go to that person.
Okay.
If they're doing fillers and they don't have hyaluronidase, which can reverse a filler complication, don't go there. That would be a very bad thing to do. And then there are societies, like you can go on the American Society for Dermatologic Surgery. We have members of our society that live throughout the U.S., and you can find out who is a member of that society. I'm sure plastic surgeons have the same thing. For the Plastic Surgery Society, who are their members and what states are they in? Mm-hmm. Those are good places to start.
If people are in the area, how can people find you?
Aesthetic Solutions.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was
us.
A pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we're back to the studio. Okay, Penn, you were actually there for the interview. Mm-hmm. What did you think? What's your reaction?
So the menu, it was like a Cheesecake Factory menu.
Of what they could do.
Do you guys, do you ever know, do you know what you sit down and you're like overwhelmed by 19 pages of things? I thought there were like 3 things you could do.
Yeah.
There was a long list of things. I don't even know if we showed all of them. We may have cut some of them out, but it was a heck of a menu. I just like, listen, I find myself most of the time wondering if the people who are doing this need it as much as they think they need it. And she addressed that sometimes. Mm-hmm. I was shocked by the concept of pre-juvenation. Mm-hmm. Like my daughter's older than some of the people who are going in to get lip fillers with this doctor.
Yeah, I when she said a 16-year-old getting lip fillers, that was shocking to me. But as we talk about affirming care, which I think can be like
gender affirming care,
like affirming care. Yeah, mm-hmm. Which can be a very triggering statement. I don't know what that girl's, like maybe she has, like she's feeling so self-conscious. She's not wanting to show her, maybe her lips are so, small. And like maybe if anybody's going to do a very subtle job, it's going to be Dr. Cox. And that changed everything with her presentation. So I try in my life about all things to take a step back and not get judgmental. But I heard that, and I heard that there are a lot of 18-year-olds getting this preventing the wrinkle stuff, and it made me a little sad. But I get it done too. So how can I judge?
Yeah, and I hear you. And so I bet if you had zero like work ever done on you, I would still think that you were drop dead gorgeous.
That's who you are.
But that's not really the point, right?
For women, for me personally, I do feel like you and I are very secure, and even if I did no work, you would be into it. It's for me.
Yeah,
it's for
and
me.
It should be, and you work hard, and like, hey, do your thing. So we were talking about the pre-juvenation. I love hearing that she says that like occasionally she'll say, no, that's not my aesthetic. That's not really what I'm feeling when I do this. But so do dermatologists and surgeons, do they have a responsibility or a requirement to report when they're seeing signs that someone might have an issue before they do a procedure on them?
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
I don't know either. So to me, that's the part where like someone comes to a doctor, they've clearly got body dysmorphia. You're not trained to like diagnose and say, here's what you need to do. Do you need some therapy for this? And as she said, it's like very difficult when you go to someone to try to get help and they say you need to see a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Like, should there be some integration of that before you can get a procedure?
I think that it puts a barrier to mostly women who are of free will. I think it's probably.
I'd say it could work for guys too.
No. But I think it's probably is more rare. But you do see. To me, it is shocking that there are doctors that they'll just do it. Yeah. And I think that's problematic, but she's definitely not.
I'm not saying she is. I'm thinking about the whole world here.
Oh yeah.
And just wondering like, does that happen a lot? Do people just say, okay, well, this is what you want. That's fine. Am I making any sense with this?
Yeah, 100%. And I was just Googling it because I was thinking like doctors have a code of ethics.
Of course.
Yes.
To not do harm. And plastic surgeons are doctors. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just blurry what you consider what harm. A doctor might consider harm. If someone's asking for this work to be done, mm-hmm. I think you like an arm is broken. Okay, I'm going to fix someone's arm.
Yeah.
But a patient is asking for this.
I know. It is very slippery and it's very tricky. And
I'm glad we talked about it.
Yeah. And
honestly, this ended up being way more interesting than I thought it would be.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know. I thought maybe we were just going to talk about getting your cheeks filled up. Like that was like there's so many issues and other things. Like I want to pay attention to it now. Remember the part where Dr. Cox was saying that there's only about 15% of her clientele are men, and they are mostly there to say that they want to get ahead in the workplace. And my thought was like, you guys, like maybe that's what they're saying, but they're not, for the most part, not willing to get vulnerable enough to say like, I think I'll look better and I'll like the way that I look. And I know that because we had a podcast not too long ago where Kim finally got out of me that, oh yeah, I like the way my eyes look after I had a blepharoplasty.
Yeah.
Like I told literally everybody that I got it because, and this is true.
Yeah.
I got it because I had occluded vision because I was like so droopy on the sides that, especially at night, like I could not see. I wasn't getting enough light into my corneas, but also like I liked the way I looked. For some reason, I'm a guy, so I didn't say, yeah, I wanted my eyes to look better, and now they look better. Women are way better at saying that.
Yeah, and by the way, if we could have had an affiliate
for
link
that eye surgery,
for that eye doctor, because we ran into him, and he's like, "Guys, I'm really busy now." I'm like, "Man, affiliate link that eye surgery."
Thanks, Doc.
Anyway, now back to the regularly programmed part of the show.
What the GenZers are saying. Today's word is cooked. Do you think that means went to the kitchen, had a meal, and cleaned up after yourself? Because that's what we'd like our kids to mean when they say cooked. But that's not what it means, everyone. Kim?
Here's the thing. You can use this term very different ways.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of different ways.
So when you say let him cook, it means to let somebody continue what they're doing, even if it seems unconventional, because it might lead to something good. In contrast, cooked implies that whatever was being cooked has failed and is beyond saving. So your teen takes a test and he says, I'm cooked. This is not to be confused with ate, which is praise, because normally if you said, hey, PC, how did you do in the test? You'd say, I ate. So that's suggesting the person not only did well, but left a lasting impression. Gen Z, why are you so hungry? Need Hot Pocket? Now that we have finally deciphered the difference between all these, our kids, they hear us saying these things and they stop using them.
Did we decipher it? Did we just confuse ourselves again with this?
I totally made sense.
Okay, making sure.
I made sense.
Okay.
Let me cook.
Right. PC texted me and said, I cooked at practice today. Is he using it wrong?
So should we get him up here?
Yeah. Today's word is cooked, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let me cook means like, listen, I know you're not feeling this, but let me finish what I'm doing. I'm cooking.
Sure. You're very close.
Now, if you say like, I got cooked, that means I got ruled by somebody, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
If you say I cooked, what does that mean?
You're on the other side of what happened.
You did well.
Yeah.
You dominated, right?
Yeah.
I hope that those of you on YouTube are seeing my son's face right now, because the whole process of someone's parent trying to understand the slang of their children generally leads to the extinction of that word, right?
Yeah, no longer using that word ever.
So
I remember saying it, I think yesterday, and I now am not. It's done. It's over. It's over.
Because if your parent says it, it is no longer cool.
And it wasn't ever cool. It was just like, it was just a part of a vocabulary, and now it's not cool. It was neutral. Now it's negative.
Right.
It's like subtraction, not really multiplication. In a sense.
Fair enough to say that the word cook
is cooked. It's cooked. Yeah, it's cooked.
Cooked.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for watching Laugh Lines. Here to read the credits is PC. And by the way, it's easier to read credits if you read them like a game show host.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, very good.
Laugh Lines is written and produced by Kim Holderness, Penn Holderness, and Anne-Marie Chapke, with original music by Penn Holderness. It is filmed, edited, and live produced by Sam Allen and hosted by Acast. As always, we love to hear from you. Please write us at podcast@theholdernessfamily.com or leave a voicemail at 323-364-3929. And we will talk to you soon on the Laugh Line.
PC, you cooked those credits.
No.